Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to June on the Range 2023. This is a BookTube event created by Michael K. Vaughan. He's rustled up a great group of co-hosts. We're reading Westerns all through the month of June. Which, again, I know I've made this point a couple of times, but it has now reached freakish dimensions here. It's going to feel a little bit like a taunt for half of the middle of the country. But it doesn't feel like summer at all here. I'm reading all these Westerns with dry towns and boiling heat. The Day of the Gun, the heat was a major character in that book. There hasn't been anything like that in June, except for one day. June this year has been cool and overcast. And it's just going to stay that way. No way to avoid it now. The month is going to ride out. We're going to ride out the balance of the rest of the month in cold, overcast days with lots of rain. Kind of weird. But I've been just spinning the wheel for Westerns to read every night. I've been adding a Western to my reading pile every night for June on the Range. I've been doing that with Book Trek as well, another BookTube event. And I might stop with Book Trek, but June on the Range only lasts a month. So I want to get in as much Western reading as possible. And I did something the night before last. I reread a Western set romance, Love Drunk Cowboy. And it was terrific. It was even better the second time than it was the first time. I love that book so much. And I thought, okay, well, that sets your chronometer. That evens your keel. Now you can go back to either the pile of old ratty paperbacks that you bought in anticipation of June on the Range, or you can go to all the Westerns that you have, the mainstream non-romance Westerns that you have electronically. But when it came to it last night, I decided to do exactly the same thing again. Now I have it out of my system. But I decided to do exactly the same thing. And not just read a Western set romance, but reread a Western set romance. And boy, oh boy, I read a winner, one by an author I absolutely love. This is This Gun for Hire by Joe Goodman. This series is so good. She is just so good as a romance writer. God almighty. I mean, I love the genre. You all know that. I love the genre. But I'm perfectly willing to admit, I'm sure that my sister from another mister, my partner in crime, Sarah at the Bookish Knitter, would be also perfectly willing to admit that a lot of romances are really dumb. A lot of books, just in general, are really dumb. A lot of them make you check your brain at the door in order to enjoy the other stuff that's going on. Joe Goodman doesn't do that. These are really well-paced, really well-constructed stories full of real characters. That's just wonderful. That's an added bonus for anything. And this is a story of Quill McKenna, who is one of the most memorable heroes in a Western romance novel that I've ever read. And he is in Stone Church, Colorado. So this is taking place in 19th century Colorado. And Stone Church is a mining town. It's a boom town. It's a prosperous place, and that's mainly due to Ramsay Stone Church, who is the man who the town was named after him. He is a mining magnate. He owns the biggest claims. He operates the biggest works. He is the biggest deal in town. And he's a hard guy. He's made his share of enemies. And those enemies are getting more and more daring. And Quill McKenna is Ramsay Stone Church's bodyguard, his main one. And by far his most effective one. But the threats are now starting to come in a lot of different directions, including to Stone Church's daughter, his little girl. And so Stone Church and Quill decide that the girl herself needs a protector. Right? Quill McKenna is a very, very capable gunman. He is an omni-capable romance hero, but he can't be in two places at the same time. He can't be outside the schoolroom if he's guarding the boss. So he hires a protector who can be near to female teachers, near to little school children, who can go into the places, the feminine places, that Quill can't go in order to protect this little girl. And that protector is Calico Nash, a young woman who is a tomboy, ready with a gun, ready with a sarcastic quip. She's not at all finishing school material, and it's pretty obvious right away when you read this book that these two are going to end up together. That is, no matter how many atmospherics a romance novel does, it is still a romance novel. It still has a job to do. And so you know that's going to happen. You know that's going to be the background mechanic of this book, is the two of them sparring, seeming like they're incompatible, and gradually growing into feeling the sexual tension. They are the most attractive people in the book. So they feel sexual tension, but you know that it's going to be more than that the plot is going to build to that. But Joe Goodman works in a lot of really good bad guys and a lot of serious danger. And so you are reading this thing and loving the adventure story even while the romance is building. Which, much as I love Love Drunk Cowboy, you have to be in that thing for the romance or you're not going to read it. This thing, no, not at all. And I've always wondered what it would be like to reread this. I loved it. I loved it even more the second time. So I think it has the romance gimmick that is going on. The romance gimmick is how will these two grow to love each other and also to scorch the sheets together. How will they do that? But there's also a plot, a big plot in here, and it's really well done about those forces that are aligned against Mr. Stonechurch. And can we find out who they are? Are they even about halfway through the book? Is it possible that some of their complaints are legitimate? Fantastic. When a writer is willing to dig into their story like that, that's fantastic. So I loved it, and I have now got it out of my system. So I will be moving on to straight up, middle of the road westerns next time, tonight. In fact, I think to be sure that I get on the straight and narrow again, I think I will go to one of those print books. I'll go back to my pile of cheesy old westerns. I shouldn't view that as, a dwindling resource, because I have access to plenty more where those came from. In the course of the year, between now and next June on the Range, I'll have plenty of opportunity to get more cheesy 35-cent Western paperbacks. But I think I'll do that tonight. The day is young, so I might change my mind, but that is my report for today. It's This Gun for Hire, and it was my second Western romance. A second Western romance reread, and 2 just home runs. So, fantastic. Always count on romance. I can always count on romance. So, I'll wrap this up for now. A very short video, but I'll be back next time. I will see you then. Thank you, BookTube.